What happened to NBA 2K24? At the beginning of the 2K season, which is really around August when we start getting news until the game drops in September, everyone was so hyped about the game, the features were added, and everything looked great. We were being told rep was back, new pro play features added into the game would improve the gameplay, and more rewards with the new Game Pass. So for the first few months or so of the game, I think we were all having the most fun we had on any 2K since probably 2K20. The game was solid, rewards were good, and there seemed to be a skill gap most of all, which is what most of the community wanted. So what exactly happened? It's your boy DonnyB, and in today's video, we're going to look at what exactly happened to NBA 2K24 toward the end of the year compared to the beginning of the year. Why it went downhill, why the community had so many issues, and what were some of the issues that the community had exactly. So before we get into today's video, don't forget to drop a like and drop a sub if you're new to the channel, man, and let's get into it. Now, as somebody who plays 2K every day, makes builds, plays park, rec, pro-am, I think I'm in a pretty good space to make an honest observation of the game, an unbiased observation of the game. Now, the first problem that a lot of people in the community had was the rep system and the top 10 reward. The community consistently pleaded for rep because they wanted something to grind towards. Now, that is because for the past few 2Ks, it hasn't been that much. The game dies out fast, and by December to January, there isn't really anything to grind for. The only issue is that the rep didn't move at all this year, and this wouldn't be a problem except it happened entirely too early. People's reps were moving really slow once they started to reach starter, and this was because there were only 4 tiers in the rep system. Now, the best rep system for me was 2K20. That is my favorite 2K and has been my favorite 2K, but I will say 2K24 has been the best 2K since 2K20. In 2K20, it felt like the grind was worth it. First of all, there were 5 tiers in 2K20 from rookie to legend, and progress felt reasonable within each tier. Not only did the rewards in each tier feel reasonable, but the legend reward itself actually felt like a grind, and it felt like something that you had to grind for. You got 10 badges in each category. Now, if you played 2K20 back then, you knew how insane 10 badges in each category really was. Now in 2K24, the concept of top 10 was introduced to give more players a chance to be top rep. It gave 10 players who grinded a chance to stay in the top 10 highest reps on the game and get rewards as long as they were there. On the surface, that seemed like a great idea, but the rewards not only didn't match the level of dedication you needed to get there, but they were just bland in general. If you don't believe me and take my word for it how bland it was, look at the reaction from the very first person to hit top 10.
Oh shit! That's it?
Now, the second issue I want to touch on is the issue before the game even released, and I'm talking about the battle passes. Now, there are 2 battle passes, one that actually costs money and one that's free. Now, the difference between the two is the one that costs has slightly better cosmetics and other things that they include. The community had issues with this immediately, not only because it was paid and that made another thing that the game included that had to be paid for, but it also allowed level skips, which obviously lets you skip from, let's say, 16 to level 40 to get all those cosmetics. So another way to pay to play, basically. But my thing is, the reason I don't think this was such a big deal, and I don't see it as much of a big deal as everybody else, because you don't have to pay for the battle pass. It wasn't a case where they were hiding or they were gatekeeping better animations, better badges and stuff like that behind the better battle pass that you had to pay for. No, it literally was just cosmetics, jump shot animations and stuff like that. Things that make the game more appealing. If you want that, you have to pay for it. That's nothing crazy. That's been in games for the past 10 plus years now. I don't see why the community made such a big deal about it. To me personally, that's not that much of a big deal. And speaking of cosmetics, that brings me to the next issue, which is the cosmetics. 2K has become so repetitive with its rewards every season, and the community has expressed its displeasure with that the entire year. Like every season, the level 40 reward has been some kind of mode of transportation, and after a while, it just wasn't worth it unless you were one of those people who really cared about having a car, a jetpack, a scooter, and stuff like that, which the average player just doesn't care about. Since they bought rep back, I personally didn't think they needed seasons anymore other than to get money from us, which we know that's the main goal. But other than that, a lot of the cosmetics could have just been placed in the store, like the old 2Ks, and they could have just cost a certain amount of VC that you had to save up or whatever the case was. Like back then, we used to have the DJ booth and everything like that. They could have made these different modes of transportation 75,000, 100,000, 150,000 VC if they really wanted our money. I think that would have been a better way to differentiate if you wanted it or not, or the type of transportation vehicle that you wanted. It was a good idea, and I like some of the rewards and animations, but I just think over time, a lot of people are not interested in it. And you can even see some of the displeasure from a lot of the bigger content creators. Like here we have Badge and Chalk. They were going back and forth on Twitter earlier this month about some of the things that 2K implemented and some of the ways that they implemented this stuff exactly. You can see here that Chalk said the 2K community asked for a city, they got it and they hated it. They asked for affiliations back, they got it and they hated it. They asked for more freedom in the builder, they got it and they hated it. They asked for old rewards to come back, they got it, they hated it. And they asked for shooting to be easier, they got it and they hated it. It's never enough. And in my opinion, I do believe there are a lot of members of the community that will constantly beg for things. And this game is probably the best 2K since 2K20 in my opinion. 2K21 we had the overpowered contact dunks on 2K21 next gen. 2K22 whites went in continuously, like it was crazy. I remember seeing people in the Pro-Am hit white animations. They were getting green animations on white jump shots. Like that's completely insane to me. 2K23, it really wasn't much to say about 2K23. Like it wasn't anything amazing, but I think this game, in terms of having the rep, having the rewards and everything, I think this game is better than 2K23. And like I said, I think it's the best game since 2K20. You can also see Badge reply back and say, at face value, it's easy to agree, but 3 of those things are executed poorly. Also, I will always be the guy to say, I told you so about the shooting. I pleaded for them not to change it, but here we are. And I do give credit to Badge Plug because he is constantly always on Twitter underneath 2K tweets, and he's always advocating for better things to get added to the game, different things to get fixed, because he wants to genuinely see 2K be as good as it once was. But I will say, like you can see Chalk here say, who's to say it's executed poorly and what's the proper way to execute them? We cannot take, or I should say, the 2K devs cannot take the entire community's opinion when it comes to certain things and how to execute them. They can't take it. They cannot take into account everyone who plays this game, because everyone plays this game differently. Everyone plays these games at different times. They're different skill levels. And a lot of people, like if you speak to one person who barely plays 2K, they might tell you white should go in a lot. And anyone who plays this game hardcore and actually believes that there is a skill gap and wants to compete, they'll tell you white should never go in. You should be able to time your jump shot. That brings me to my next issue, which is the Zens and the Zens in 2K24. Now, if you don't know what a Zen is, it's a modded controller, and whenever a player shoots a shot, no matter if they're 100% guarded, whatever the case is, the person with the Zen will always make their shot. So basically, long story short, it's cheating. And this isn't the first 2K with Zens. And as a matter of fact, Zens are the reason we no longer have vibrations on the controller when we shoot. And that started in 2K21. Like in 2K20, I'm sure all you guys, if you play, you remember the vibration in the controller, and it made it a little bit easier for you to time your jump shot. Now, there were still issues. Certain people still couldn't shoot, but we used to have vibrations in the controller. There was a recent boom of Zens within the 2K League pros, popular streamers, and everybody who played using them on the games. It ruined the fun for certain people who want to play because they didn't want to play cheaters. Shooting isn't even hard on the game as it is. 2K has made sure that shooting was, when the game first came out this year, shooting was not hard at all. I cannot remember what patch it was, but they nerfed shooting a little bit and made it a little bit harder. And then everybody started complaining, and when they continuously patch and touch stuff, it does nothing but make it worse. So it really, for me, it really speaks to how bad you are if you have to use a Zen. And as a matter of fact, if you guys know, EJ, he's one of the most popular 2K content creators. He said this on stream.
Yo, how he just hit that?
Yo, y'all niggas weird as fuck. Y'all niggas weird, gang. Y'all, yeah, you gang.
Yo, now he got a zin. He got a zin. Against EJ?
Chad. If I go to the park, y'all glitch the spot. If I come to the stage, I play against Zeners. If I go to the park, I gotta glitch. Y'all glitch the spot. I gotta keep dashboard. If I go to the stage, if I go to the stage, I'm playing against Zeners, bro. Like, bro, this shit's sad, bro.
Now me, I've never even thought about using a Zen. The way I grew up, I like to compete in every single thing. If there's a chance for me to compete in it and I know I'm good, I compete, and I compete fairly. That's absolutely insane to get on 2K to use a Zen just because you want to flex off your rep or whatever the case is to win a game, to win 500 VC, whatever the case is. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me, and that literally ruins what we believe is a skill gap and what we believe is a competitive nature of 2K. The biggest problem of 2K24 for me personally, and this is my opinion, and you can ask certain people who play 2K, but I feel like there just isn't a skill gap. I think this game has turned into who gets the best animations. The animations are random at that. Badges, there's no skill. The only time you see a skill gap on this game is when someone's complete trash and someone isn't. If you two have similar builds, or if you two have something similar, it automatically comes down to who's gonna get the best animations throughout the game. There's no reason you should be able to stay in front of somebody and then they just warp right past you. There's no reason for you to be able to dribble the ball and the ball go through your body when you're reaching it. If someone is dribbling the ball and you go for a steal, the ball can go through your body. And for me, stuff like that takes what I want to believe is competition. It takes that level of competition away from me. Like, you guys know, if you watch any of my videos, if you watch me on stream, I play Tekken. For me, obviously fighting games will always be more competitive than a basketball simulation or a football, like Madden, 2K, games like that. It'll always be more competitive because you're more in control. It's only you versus your opponent, and there's actually strategy and there's a lot of stuff behind fighting games. But 2K wants us to believe that there is a skill gap, that there should be a difference between two players when they match up, whatever the case is. And even if you play my team, you just don't see it. You don't see it. And that's my biggest problem with 2K this year. I sincerely want this game to get back to a state where we all can enjoy it. And I think they were on the right track. I think they just lost their way a little bit somewhere in 2K24. But the game overall, like I said, the game overall is the best 2K they've dropped since 2K20. I just think there are a lot of factors that factored into why it fell off for a lot of people this year. And for me, I think it just fell off a little bit because of the skill gap. Like, the skill gap, it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there for me this year. And this is someone talking who plays the game 24/7. I'm not a casual, and it's not like I continuously lose on 2K. Like, I win a majority of my games in every mode that I play. Like, that's the thing, and I'm saying that, and that's how I feel. Now, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to drop a like and drop a sub if you're new to the channel, man. But I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I want you guys to read these tweets. From this tweet, what is the #1 thing you don't like about NBA 2K24? And I'm gonna leave you guys with this and let you guys read the tweets that everybody dropped in response to this tweet.